of Committee on Local Government, Public Works Committee, and at the same time one of the vice presidential candidates in May elections. Let us all welcome Senator Bongbong Marcos. Hi sir, good morning.
Good morning. Oo nga pala, no? First time this year.
Yes, kayo po ang buwan naman na namin.
I am honored.
Sir, 2 weeks from now, start na nung kampanya for those running in national positions. So, may we know kung ano yung inyong plano, how and where yung inyong kick-off ng campaign?
Well, ang plano natin, as is traditional with us, mga Marcos, we start in Ilocos. So that's the plan. Yan ang plano for now. And then ganun na, alam naman natin ng kampanya, you just try and cover as much ground as possible. So from Ilocos, the plan is to work our way down to Manila. Spend the day in each of the provinces, then in Manila ikot ulit. It's really very the usual campaign. It's just trying to cover as much ground as possible. Dahil kahit parang mahaba ang 90 days, it's really very short period of time to cover all the places that you feel you need to go to.
Sir, some are asking, is Santiago Marcos tandem still alive?
Oh, sure. Of course. We are in constant coordination. Lalo na ngayon na palapit na nga din sa campaign period. So, fina-finalize na namin yung mga stops, kung saan kami magkasama, kung saan kami hindi magkasama. You cannot be together all the time because sayang yung coverage. Kung lagi kayo magkasama, kung pwede kayo maghiwalay, you can cover twice as much ground. So, that's the plan. That's the plan that we are finalizing now.
So dun sa kick-off ng inyong campaign, wala pang assurance kung makikita kayo magkasama ni Senator Santiago?
I believe that's yun ang idea. Siyempre, you have to kick off the campaign na magkatandem before going off on your own kung saan pupunta. Yan ang aming pinaplano sa ngayon.
So doon sa mga latest survey, maganda yung showing ninyo. Sa inyo daw po ina-attribute yung pagtaas ng rating niyo sa mga survey? Well,
siyempre, ganda ang tinitignan ko dyan, yung trajectory. Kung if we are moving in the right direction, kung ano ba talaga ang pagtanggap sa iyo. And I have to say, with the results of with the survey, parang ako naman sa palagay ko nangyayari yan dahil maganda nga ang pagtanggap dyan sa mensahe ko. At ang pinag-uusapan ko kapag ako umiikot ay tungkol sa pagkakaisa ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Palagay ko naman ay alam ng taong bayan na yan ang malaking ang kailangan natin gawin para maging successful ang ating bansa, para mabigyan natin ng tulong ang ating mga mamamayang nangangailangan. And that very simple message, the message of unity, the message that we cannot succeed if we are not working together. It is a simple message, but I think it rings true. And para yun na nga, alam din ng taong bayan yan, kaya't pagpatuloy ko lang ang pagbigkas ng mensaheng yan.
So are you expecting o tinatarget niyo ba na next survey kayo na po yung number 1?
Actually, hindi naman ganun ang aming pagpaplano. Meron tayong plano sa kampanya. We continue with the plan of the campaign. Mukha namang effective, so ipapagpatuloy lang namin kung ano yung kampanya. Siyempre, the end result is pataasin ng mga numbers, but I think the way to do it is to be consistent with your message, consistent with what we are doing now, na try to speak to as many people as possible at maipaliwanag nga kung ano ba talaga ang iniisip na programa para sa pamahalaan. At paulit-ulit nga, hindi natin magagawa lahat itong mga ating magandang programa, lahat ng ating mga plano kung hindi tayo nagkakaisa. Mas magiging mabilis ang progreso ng Pilipinas pag tayo ay makikita natin lahat ng Pilipino ay nagtutulungan.
Any related question? Kasi SSS na yung isusunod ko. Wala na about politics? Sir, did you sign the Senate resolution expressing the sense of the Senate to override
Yes,
the...
I think all of us who were there were made authors, were made sponsors. So I think, yes, so because I'm very much in favor of it.
But Senate President Drilon is questioning that resolution kasi daw dapat mag-emanate sa House yung initiative to override.
Well, be that as it may, it is a sense of the Senate resolution. So, kung nag-agree ang mga members of the Senate, of the upper house, that is a clear expression of the sense of the Senate that we feel that the 2,000 pesos additional payment for pensioners should be given. And it was unfortunate that very disappointing that the President chose to veto it.
Sir, you're saying it's about time to stop na yung controversies, yung mga arguments, instead look for a win-win solution. Ano yung sa tingin nyo, yung may sasuggest nyo?
Sa SSS? Sa palagay ko, kailangan lang natin gawin dyan ayusin yung ayusin ang management ng SSS. Dahil kung titignan na, sinasabi nila they cannot afford it at masisira daw ang pondo. Well, dapat unang-una yung koleksyon gawing mas maganda, 35%. That is a very low number. And it is that shows a great deal of inefficiency on the part of the SSS management in their functions as managing the fund. And beyond that, makikita natin yung mga investment na ginawa nila mukha namang hindi ganun kaganda kaya't hindi sila kumikita. Ngayon, kung maayos natin yung dalawang bagay na yan, ay kailangan talaga natin sabihin na hindi naman na yung management, kapag pinaganda yan, kaya naman ibigay yung 2,000 pesos. Ngayon, hanggat maayos yun, then we should find a compromise solution. You know, we have to remember na ang pondo ng SSS, hindi pondo ng gobyerno yan. That is a fund that belongs to workers. At pinagbabayad natin sila, meron withholding, at ilinalagay sa, may wini-withhold, at ilinalagay sa SSS. And again, that is a private fund that really should be managed better. And I think that the government should recognize na hindi dapat galawin yung pondong yan dahil yung pondong yan ay hindi naman pera ng gobyerno.
But there is a report, sir, that 34 SSS executives earned 116 million in 2014. Is this something irregular, sir?
It is highly irregular. 116 million a year is for compensation. Parang ginagatasan na lang yung SSS imbis na patakbuhin na maganda, imbis na gawa ng lahat ng paraan para magamit yung pondo para tumulong sa mga retirees, sa mga pensioners, binibigyan na lang siguro parang ano yan, parang how do you call it, yung cushy appointment na parang pabor para sa mga political allies. We have to stop doing that, and we have to find better managers who will actually run the fund and who will actually provide the kind of insurance that our pensioners have worked for all of their lives.
So, sir, palitan na yung mga SSS executives?
Well, they're not doing the job very well. Kung ganyan nga, 2,000 pesos hindi nila kayang i-suporta, di bakit maghanap tayo? I'm sure mayroon mas magagaling dyan. I remember in previous years, the SSS was much better run. So I'm sure nandiyan pa naman ang mga magagaling na marunong magpatakbo ng isang pondong ganyan. At marami tayong kilala in the private sector who are very, very competent and who are quite quite experienced in doing this, and I don't think that that the problem is a lack of talent. I don't think that that's the problem.
Sir, going back dun sa Senate resolution, Senate President Drilon said na political season na daw kasi, so yung mga pumirma doon parang namumulitika and they are trying to isolate the president.
I disagree. It is an attempt to help people. Nagsimula yan sa income tax. Nagsimula yan, tapos ito na yung SSS. Both of which were vetoed or turned down by the palace. So it is not, kailan ba natigil ang usapan na ibaba ang income tax? Lahat naman sinasabi mataas ang buwis, ang nagiging koleksyon ng BIR hindi naman hindi fair ang kanilang assessment at kung yung mga hinahabol nila, kung minsan tax exempt nga, hinahabol pa rin ng BIR. So, this is a constant ongoing between citizens, taxpayers, and the government. The government always wants the taxpayers to pay more. Taxpayers would always like to pay less. So this is an ongoing back and forth between the two sectors. But ang lumalabas, the reason kung bakit nagkaka-epekto sa politika ay maliwanag na ayaw ibigay ng palasyo ang mga benepisyo na hinihingi. Dahil consistent ang kanilang ginagawa. They turn down every additional payment, any kind of tax relief, lagi nilang tina-turn down. Kaya't nahahalata na ayaw nilang tulungan ang taong bayan. Kaya nagiging political. Kung tumulong sila, it will not even be an issue. At kung lumabas lahat yan, sasabihin natin, good, the government is doing its best to try and help people. But the opposite is happening. Ang lumalabas, ayaw talaga tayong tulungan. Ay nangangailangan naman tayo. Mga pensyonado, yan ang mga sa lahat siguro ng sektor. They have no income. They are at the mercy of the prices of goods and commodities that they find necessary to have a life. And yet, any assistance of government, binivito agad. So that is why it becomes a political issue.
Macon?
Sir, how would you resolve or address the problems in the SSS? Where you were talking about the mismanaged funds, bad investment.
We just have to find better people.
So will you call for the resignation of these people?
Oh yeah, I don't think they're doing a good job.
So will you call for their resignation?
I think that's what I'm saying. I'm saying we must replace them with people who are better at managing the fund. Dahil sa nakaraan naman, hindi naman naging problema yan kasi very professional ang patakbo ng SSS. Ngayon, since pinulitika na naman and everything is a political appointment in this administration, then that's why we've seen this not only in the SSS, we've seen this in other departments where the people who are running very large organizations within the government have been clearly shown to be incompetent. Hindi nila kaya ang trabaho nila. Ang daming nadadamay na tao, kaya kailangan seryosohin natin, maghanap tayo ng mga mahuhusay. Hindi na bali yung alkalyado o hindi. Sa politika, yan ang nagiging problema hindi pwedeng maglagay ng tao na hindi natin kaalyado yan. At saka yung mga parang reward para sa kanilang parang loyalty reward ang ginagawa sa mga posisyon sa government. Hindi linalagyan ng tao na sa palagay natin ang pinakamagaling na magpatakbo ng mga organisasyon na yan. Kaya tayo nagkakaroon.
So, follow up. Aside from their replacement, would you initiate any move to look into the yung malalaking sweldo nila?
Yung mga perks.
Yes, we have the new GOCC law. And those should be, but again, we have to keep reminding ourselves that these are not government funds. These are funds that have been collected from private citizens who had during their working life. So it has to be, kung maglalagay na tayo ng tao dyan, let us just find the best, most competent person. Let us put aside politics and let us put aside itong mga parang political rewardees. And just find the best people who can run the fund the best that we can. That seems to be the problem of the government, is that they seem to pick they do not seem to pick the best. They end up with a lot of people who cannot seem to do their job. And the reasons, again, I revert to the fact that I think that the reason is because they are appointed for political purposes, not for actual management, work, efficiency. That's why we have this problem. 35% collection. Ano ba naman? Napakababa naman masyado.
Saan yung political accommodation? Mga tumulong before?
Yung mga ganun. Yung mga tumulong, bigyan natin ng premyo. So, sige, dyan na kayo. Malalaki ang perks sa inyo. Malaki ang kailangan nyo. Siguro ganun ang attitude. Kaya ganyan.
So, can
Kaya walang ginagawa.
Can we blame the president for what's happening now sa SSS?
No, we have to blame them for being incompetent and for not doing their job properly. But of course, some responsibility lies with the president. Why did you pick people who cannot seem to do the job? And once you find that they cannot do the job, hanap kayo kagad ng mga may kaya. We should have no patience for that because ang nakataya rito ang buhay ng mga pensyonado. Mahirap na nga ang buhay nila, mas pinahihirapan pa. Hindi naman dapat.
Okay, Brian.
Sir, yung po bang sa may resolution na pinapaikot, pareho po ba yung dun sa resolution natin na ginawa sa EDCA? Yung ginawa ng mga sila doon na
Yung sa EDCA?
Just to say,
Yeah, it is a sense of the House. Ganun. Yeah, kasi naman, it basically manifests or expresses the desire of the majority of the members na mabigay ngayon 2,000 pesos additional payment for pension.
Okay, other issue na tayo. Any related questions sa SSS issue? On the Mama Sapano. Sir, what are your expectations dun sa reinvestigation sa Mama Sapano next week?
Well, meron na tayong konting nakikita. As we all know, ang nag-move para ibuksan ulit ang Mama Sapano investigation ay si Senator Enrile, and he has made some statements to the effect na meron daw siyang bagong ipapalabas na the direct involvement of the president in the peace process, in the non-rescue, all of these things. So I have been trying to kinakausap ko siya, sinasabi ko, ano bang meron ka? Sabi niya, well, tignan mo, because I've been reading the transcripts and so he has many questions to ask. So I expect that there might be few more facts and details that were not entirely clear during the original hearings that he will make clear. Alam naman natin na si Senator Enrile is a very good lawyer, and he is a very good interpolator. He is a very good senator. At sa ganung paraan ay makikita natin, hindi naman siguro niya gagawin ito kung sa palagay niya talagang kumpleto na ang report ng committee. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, but as I have expressed before, my concern, immediate concern, and that's why I wrote a letter to the committee chairman, to Senator Grace. Sinabi ko sa kanya kung pwedeng imbitahin ng NBI director, kung pwedeng imbitahin si Secretary De Lima. Doon sa listahan na ginilist nila, wala pa rito yung aking gini-request. Pero I will go back to the committee. Webes pa lang naman. This is happening on Wednesday next week. So baka I will make a personal verbal request that we will do.
Why are you asking Secretary De Lima ng NBI to...
Because I want to find out the status of the cases against those who murdered the South 44. We were all very encouraged a few months ago nung pagkatapos na mabigay yung original NBI investigation report na sinabi niya, we will charge up to 90 people with murder. Sabi namin, tama yan. We should really do everything we can to bring justice to the victims. Pero ngayon, nakita, pinabalik, pinare-investigate, isang taon na, wala pa tayo nakikitang ginagawa ang DOJ para to bring these people to justice. That is why it is very disturbing to see that the one thing that the families of the Sub-44 are asking for, ang hinihingi nila, kung I can say this of my own personal knowledge, dahil nung sinalubong ko sila sa Villamor, sinalubong ko yung mga bangkay, at nakakausap ko yung mga pamilya, ang kanilang hinihingi, hindi sila humihingi ng pera, hindi sila humihingi ng benepisyo, hindi sila humihingi ng scholarship. Ang lagi nilang sinasabi, huwag niyo po kami makalimutan para at bigyan po ninyo yung mga namatayan ng katarungan. That is always what they have said, and they have been consistent in that. And I am ashamed that the government of which I am part of has not been able to provide that. After a year, there are clear eyewitnesses, there is even video, ang daming ebidensya. Sa palagay ko naman, hindi dapat tumagal ng isang taon ang pag-iimbestiga. Inimbestigahan na ng CIDG, inimbestigahan na ng Senado, inimbestigahan na ng House of Representatives, yung sariling report ng AFP. Siguro naman, sa dami ng informasyon na yun, ay palagay ko, sapat na yun para mabigyan na nga ng katanungan ang mga biktima ng Sub-44.
Laila, PDI.
Are there aspects of the Masapa na incident that you think haven't been tackled intensively in the previous years and which you want to go back to when there are investigations?
Well, the issue that the Senator Enrile has been talking about, yung sinasabi niyang direct involvement that was in the paper today, direct involvement of the President. Now, what exactly that means, ay hindi pa niya sinasabi. But if there is something that he can show, I would be very, very interested to find out about it, because any additional knowledge will help us, even in the deliberations of the basic law sa Bangsamoro. Many of whatever new findings will help us make it a better law. And that was my particular focus nung original Mama Sapano hearings here in the Senate, was to find out why the peace process or why the coordination was so poor. Dahil sinasabi, hindi nag-coordinate dito, may order galing dyan, paiba-iba. In other words, ang naging epekto, hindi sila nasalba, hindi sila na-rescue. So, yun ang naging focus ko. Ngayon, ganun pa rin, kaya antayin natin kung ano yung mga lalabas na bago na detalye dadating na hearing.
So sir, hindi pa na-mention or pinakita sa inyo ni JT kung ano yung mga evidence na hawak niya?
Ang impression ko kay Senator Enrile, hindi sa may hawak siyang ebidensya na gugulatin tayo lahat. I think he just has questions dahil sa pagbasa niya ng transcript, sa pagbasa niya ng investigative report ng CIDG, ng AFP, ng House, lahat ng available information, siguro sa pag-iisip niya meron siyang nakita na dapat itanong na hindi natanong. So he doesn't I really think that he just wants to perform his function as a senator and ask all of the questions that he feels need to be asked to get to the bottom of really what happened there and why we ended up with 44 dead policemen when it did, and what were the circumstances that allowed that to happen.
But so it doesn't mean na naging weak yung previous hearing kasi you failed to dig all the details, all the informations, kaya there is necessity pa to reinvestigate.
Well, para sa kanya may blank spot and he wants to fill in those blanks. Ganun ang impression ko sa pag-uusap namin. So, again, there additional knowledge, additional information is always a good thing. So, I'm supportive of that.
Ruel.
So sir, hindi nyo nakikita na may politika rito?
Siguro ngayon, sa panahon ito, lahat may political effect eh. Dahil ilang 2 linggo na lang, campaign period na. So, syempre, pagka, halimbawa, let's not talk about it, but look at what we were talking about earlier, SSS. Kung nangyari ito last year, 1 year ago, wala magsasabing political effect. Sasabihin lang, ito yung hindi nakapag-agree ang mga pensionado ng SSS at saka yung Pangulo. But because everything now will be, we are coming up to the day when all of us are once again answerable to the people. And that is as political a process as you can have. So pagka lalapit ka, sasabihin mo, anong ginawa mo dito sa SSS? Ikaw ba isang ayon dun sa ginawa ng Pangulo? O dun sa Mamasapano? Anong sa tingin mo? So it will have an effect, political effect. I do not think it's being done for political purposes. But inevitably, because we are coming up to the election, we're 3 months away, hindi mo maiiwasan na magkakaroon ng kulay ng politika. Ang mga magiging finding, ang mga magiging sagot, ang mga nagiging veto, may epekto talaga sa politika.
So kung may politika sa ito, hindi nga maiiwasan, sino sa tingin niyo yung political party o political individuals na magsasuffer o mag-benefits ito kung proseso?
Tungkol sa which subjects?
Mamasapan.
Depende kung ano lumabas sa hearing. Kung may bago lumabas sa hearing, halimbawa, yung sinasabi ni Senator Enrile, pag naipakita niya na talagang ang Pangulo ang nagsabi na huwag i-rescue, halimbawa, talagang malaking epekto yun. That's what we are waiting to see dito nga sa mga bagong mamasapan ng hearing.
Okay, Macon, and then may Ann.
So, sure wala kayo nakikitang explosive?
Explosive?
Yan, dun sa
Kung meron siyang explosive, hindi niya sinasabi sa amin. And as I said, the impression that I get is meron talaga siyang sa kaka-research niya, meron siyang nakikitang mga tanong na hindi nasagot or not sufficiently, not satisfactorily answered.
So walang vendetta on his part?
Vendetta?
Yeah.
No, the man is just doing his job. And that's why he moved for the reopening, because he felt he was not given the chance to play his role as a senator because naka-detain siya at the time. So tama rin naman. Karapatan ng bawat senador yun.
Okay, may Ann.
Sir, si Napeñas, isa po rin sa mga kakandidato sa 2014. Meron ba po siyang hindi ba sabi o may credibility po ba siya para magsabi ng iba pang hindi niya nasabi sa investigation natin?
Well, sa palagay ko, si Napeñas has all the credibility in the world dahil siyang nagpatakbo ng operation. Kaya alam niya siguro lahat ng mga detalye. Ako, kung magsasalita siya, ako yung makikinig na mabuti. Dahil ako naniniwala ako sa kanya na pagka sinabi niya gano'n ang nangyari, I think he is the person best placed during the operation na magsabi kung ano ba talaga ang nangyari.
Okay, Ruel.
If you're asking him, does he still have credibility? I believe so. Because siyang man on the ground yan eh. He was the ground commander. So there are many, every detail of that operation, from the planning to the execution to the aftermath, he was in the middle of it all. So alam niya kung nangyari.
Okay, Ruel.
Sir, pero paano yun sa party po ni General Napeñas? Kasi under oath siya nung una.
Under oath.
Under oath. Tapos hindi siya nagsinabi lahat at ngayon niya lang sasabihin.
Kung meron man siyang hindi nasabi, sa palagay ko dahil hindi natanong. Wala naman yata ako nararamdaman na tinatago niya. Wala naman yata ako nakikita pinoproteksyonan niya. So I think if ever there will be new details na lumabas, it's not because itinatago sa amin. Ay sa palagay ko dahil hindi nga natanong. Kaya nga kaya sabi ni JP, tanong natin. Ba't din niyo tinanong ito? Parang gano'n ang feeling niya eh. May mga bagay-bagay na kung ako'y nandun, na itanong ko. Ba't di niyo natanong? Itanong natin. I think that's the... I think General Napeñas was very forthcoming during the hearing. I think he was able to clarify really how things happened and who was involved. So if there are more details, we should hear them.
So yung giving recognition or Medal of Honor sa support for 1 year after, is that a little bit delayed?
Well, it's very late, and I don't know if it is the correct way to recognize the courage of our policemen. Usually yan, kapag pagka maraming nai-involve, meron tayong nakikita na mga exceptional ang kanilang naging performance. So binibigyan natin ng decoration. Pero palagay ko ang dapat din gawin ay bigyan sila ng unit citation because the entire unit was involved. The entire SAF was involved. There were many commanders, there were many officers and men and women that were involved in the operation. And they displayed great courage in the face of overwhelming odds, and that should be recognized, not only individually, but as a unit. That's usually the way. Usually naman ganyan, pagka may operation na malaki at magandang naging performance ng isang unit, they have a unit citation. And I think they definitely deserve it.
Okay. Ruel, addition?
Other issue na ako.
Oh, other issue, go ahead.
Okay. Sir, balik na tayo dun sa panel ni Senator Miriam. Nauumusta niyo ba siya? O nag-visit naman lamang? Kung sakali, sir, kumusta po siya?
No, I haven't seen her recently. But nakakausap naman namin siya, nakakausap namin yung staff niya. So, yun na nga, ang pinag-uusapan ngayon namin, paano natin i-kick off yung kampanya. Pinag-uusapan namin yung mga detalye kung saan kami pupunta. Ganun, scheduling. Ganun ang aming naging usapan so far.
So tuloy yung candidacy kasi some are asking kung tutuloy ba o dahil parang hindi siya nakikita recently.
Well, ako, ang pinagbabasehan ko na, simple lang, siya. Kung sinasabi niya, tuloy ang kampanya niya, then I take at face value. Kung sino pang paniniwalaan ko, kung di siya, siya ang nakakaalam ng kanyang pakiramdam kung kaya niya o hindi. So, if she says that she's capable or she's strong enough, then fine. Then we will proceed on that basis.
So you're not considering the possibility, yung scenario na hindi siya hindi na siya tutuloy tumakbo at wala na kayo magiging presidential candidate?
Siyempre napapag-usapan lahat ng scenario, but again, I base my planning, my scheduling on what she tells me. Kung sinasabi niya, kaya niya yung schedule, itutuloy namin. I really base it on her own assessment of her health.
Okay, Jeff.
So yung pong hindi pagiging physical ni Senator Miriam, hindi ba makaka-approve sa inyo sa campaign? Kasi team kayo, sir.
Well, syempre, that might affect the campaign. But again, I'm confident na kakayanin niya.
Okay, so recently the President signed the SK reform law.
Yes, I know. We're very happy about that. Na isabatas na yung aming SK reform bill, and that will already apply sa darating na sa susunod na halalan sa Oktubre. I am confident na yung pagbabago na aming linagay sa SK reform bill will be to the benefit of the youth movement and to the providing of a voice for young people in government and in society in general. So, pinatibay natin ang kanilang posisyon sa pamahalaan, and that's something that we were setting out to do. So, I'm very happy to hear the news that it is now a law.
Under that law, hindi na mapopoliticize ang mga youth leaders.
Hindi mahirap sabihin na hindi mapopoliticize dahil pumasok sila sa politika. But I think that that they will have a freer hand and a better system for which they can represent the young demographic. Yun naman talaga ang habol natin, na may representation na mabuti ang mga kabataan sa pamahalaan at may boses sila sa pamahalaan. Yun ang importante para sa amin. And I am confident that the way we wrote the bill and the final version of the bill achieves that. So, palagay ko kaya na makikita natin. And I think we're very anxious to see how it will actually work out at the ground level. You know, you remember, I think, in answer to your question, kung mapupoliticize, yung pinaka, yung anti-dynasty provision kami. So, yung mga anak na mga barangay official, mga elected officials, hindi pwedeng tumakbo sa jurisdiction ng kanilang kamag-anak na opisyal. And I think that goes a long way to removing the, shall we say, the concerns about the politicization of young people and the limit yung parang sinasabi na mga anak lang naman ng opisyal ang tumatakbo. Yung gusto ko sanang tumakbo pero hindi mo kaya labanan yung anak ni Mayor, yung anak ni Kapitan. So I think that will remove a great deal of that hesitation for other young people to come in and join the movement.
So may budget allocation for SK under that law?
No, the SK, there's a budget allocation anyway for SK under IRA. So meron talagang, that's part of the barangay funds kasi part sila ng barangay official daw. Meron kaming dagdag na binigay na pondo, unang-una para sa training, pinapatibay namin yung training. Pangalawa, para sa mga project na ipopropose ng iba't ibang sanggunian. Ng sangguniang kabataan. So, this gives them more options and more ability, more funding para naman meron silang maano na initiative dahil ang 10% na dumadating sa SK kung minsan, lalo na pang maliliit lang na barangay, napakaliit lang na pondo. Kaya nga, marami tayong nakikita. Tayo, nagbabiyahe tayo around the country. Ano yung mga ginagawa ng SK, puro fundraising. Kasi wala na silang magamit. So, naghahanap muna sila ng pondo para may magamit. So, we have tried to alleviate that problem by providing some extra funding for projects that will be approved by the Youth Commission and by the DILG.
Tina and then Ivy.
Sir, on another note, anong impact ng pag-join ng Philippines sa China and AIIB? Sa ating diplomatic relations sa China.
I'm sorry, anong impact ng
pag-join ng Philippines sa AIIB? Sa ating diplomatic relations sa China, tsaka yung sa arbitration.
I think it's a good step. Wag natin, it is first of all, on a purely let's put aside first the conflict in West Philippine Sea. Palagay ko malaking maitutulong ito. It's an investment fund. And marami tayong makukuha para tulungan ng ating infrastructure development. And that's something that sinasabi nga natin na kulang. But that is also an opening that we are giving. Because imbis na ngayon na hindi natin sila kinakausap, para lang i-administer yung pondo na yan, we have to talk to the Chinese officials. That might be the opening that we need. So I'm glad that they decided, that the government decided to join the AIIB. I do not think so. I do not think so. I do not believe it's part of it. It's not a treaty. It's not a treaty. It is us joining to partake to be part of an investment infrastructure investment fund. Now, meron na tayo, nakalista na tayo may project na tayo nakalista doon sa, I think there are 36 projects yata, yung siyang ata atin. So, malaking bagay yan. That will I think help, that will certainly help the maraming pondo ang China. Can afford sila, so we should take advantage of that.
Okay, Dian. Ivy.
Sir, other issue, some seized properties of the Marcoses will be up for auction this March po. Any reaction in that, sir?
Not really, no. First of all, these are things that have been decided a very long time ago, and I think that, well, no, these are court orders that are being carried out that have been done a very long time ago. So it really doesn't affect us in any way anymore. Those decisions were made years, decades.
Okay, Jeff.
Sir, sabi ng Comelec, mag-start na sila ng ballot printing sa February 1. So, tama ba yun na kahit hindi pa tapos yung SC, yung disqualification?
I think practical considerations yan eh. Kasi sa dami ng version ng ballot, di ba, bawat presinto, ibang magiging listahan. Kailangan na nilang gawin. Kasi they will just have to adjust. Kung maalala ninyo, yung unang date na January 10 pa nga. Na-push back dahil nga dito sa mga kaso, sa mga complaint, disqualification and whatever. And I think the COMELEC has tried its best to push it back and to try to accommodate decisions, TROs by the Supreme Court, by the SET, lahat yan. So, but I think nasa ano na talaga tayo, deadline na talaga tayo, hindi na nila siguro pwedeng i-push back yan. There are 42,000 LGUs and each one has its own version. So, siyempre, i-imprenta nila yan, titignan nila kung tama, kung may pagkakamali, papaguhin nila. So, all of those things still have to be done. So, malaki ang trabaho ng COMELEC. And kaya't napilitan sila na siguro i-imprenta na ng February 1.
So, sir, isasama na rin kahit may mga pending cases?
Sabi nila na yung mga pending cases ay isasama pa rin sa balota. Although the last statement na sinabi ni Chairman Bautista, sinabi niya it's not a given that some of the declared candidates will be included. What that means, I don't know. Siguro mag-uusap-usap pa sila, mag-embank pa sila. So that decision, but again, I think they have reached their deadline, absolute deadline for printing. That's why naging February.
So with all the disqualification cases of Senator Grace Poe, how do you feel for her, for your sis?
Well, malaki ang problema na. I mean, she really has to weather this storm. We saw the oral arguments that were made yesterday. We now have to await the decision of the Supreme Court on what they will do. Wala namang binibigay na schedule, so we just have to be patient and wait on that. Of course, whatever, kung ma-disqualify, hindi ma-disqualify, lahat yan may effect sa mga kandidato, sa political cycle. So we just have to watch and wait. And whatever the decision that will come out will be, we will adjust accordingly. Ganun lang naman talaga yun. Because kung magkakalculate, pag may na-disqualify, saan pupunta ang boto? Paano natin makakuha ng boto doon? Yung hindi napunta sa'yo. All of those things. How will it affect in terms of geographic voting patterns? Lahat yan, kailangan pag-aralan. So, kaya maraming nga nakaabang at maraming hindi matapos, hindi pa mabuo ang plano dahil inaantay ang resulta ng mga kaso.
Okay, John, and then Macon, and then Kim.
Sir, yung BBL po, ano po ang chances pa dito sa Senate? Hindi ko nakaka-form sa House?
Tuloy pa rin. Yung BBL, ito, ulitin ko, yung BBL, wala na talaga yan. Yung draft BBL na binigay sa amin, hindi na namin pinag-uusapan. What we are deliberating now is the substitute bill. The truth of the matter is, because I believe the substitute bill is a good bill, that I hope it will be passed, and I'll be happy to see what I believe to be a fair, equitable treatment of all the groups that are involved in the fighting in Muslim Mindanao, which I believe is what the substitute bill is that we propose to the Senate. I would be happy to see that passed into law. Kaya namin, that is the best version that I could put together. With the inputs of the other senators, then it will become an even better bill. And with that, siguro maganda para sa atin. I'll be very happy kung magpasa. Now, of course, the intervening circumstance nitong lahat is time. We had 9 days of session, tapos na yung 3. We have 6 more days in this session. And then when we come back in May, meron na namang session pero sandali lang. So I don't know kung matatapos natin in that time. There are hindi lang naman na Bangsamoro law, hindi lang naman basic law ang tinatalakay ng Senado. Marami tayong ibang mga batas na kailangan natin i-deliberate at hinahabol para matapos before the end of Congress. Of this Congress.
Sabi po ni SP, local bill kasi ito na dapat maipasa muna sa House. So, dito kayo parang nawawala ng gano'n na itama ito sa Senate, knowing na parang hindi naman nag-move forward sa House.
Oo. Siyempre, pinagmamasdan natin, we take note of what's happening in the House. No? Yun na nga na-raise na issue na matagal na namin, we've been deferring it. But the issue is basically, since this is a bill of local application, hindi ba kailangan antayin ang approved, ang version that galing sa House na approved on third reading bago natin pwedeng pwede nating ipag-aralan. But I think I agree with the Senate President nung sinasabi niya, we can work on it until we get the third reading approved version of the House. But we cannot vote until we get the transmittal from the House. That I think is the proper position to take because it's a big bill, it's complicated. We need as much time as we can to study it and to deliberate it, to discuss it. So that parang getting a head start ang ginagawa namin. But yes, we will eventually have to wait for the. My understanding is that we will have to wait for the version that will be approved on third reading by the House of Representatives.
So very slim na sir yung chance to approve.
I don't know the very slim chance to approve. I'll put it this way: we're running out of time. It's I have to admit that talagang gipit tayo sa House.
Okay, Macon, and then Kim.
Sir, sabi niyo kanina, there is already a need to print the ballots.
To print?
Yeah. Oo. Pero si Senate President Drilon has been saying otherwise na kesyo daw, it is more prudent to defer the printing of ballots as the Supreme Court is yet to come out with a final decision on all disqualification charges pending before it. So, do you think,
I think the schedule as proposed by SP is better. Para matapos na lahat ng issue tungkol sa... Kasi halimbawa, merong naka-imprenta sa balota na kandidato, tapos ma-disqualified. That confuses the issue eh. Kasi ang taong bayan, hindi naman lahat na makukuha ang balita na yung taong yan ay hindi na qualified, disqualified na nga. So, that will cause some confusion. So, ideally, I agree with the SP. Sana maantay natin lahat ng mga desisyon bago natin ma-imprenta. But it is also my understanding that it is a purely practical matter that they need at that much time to print all of the different versions for each precinct around the country. So, siguro that's parang binabalanse na one against the other. But in principle, I agree with the Senate President that it would be better for everyone if all of the decisions on disqualification, all the issues that have been raised are already complete, have already been decided, and we have a very clear understanding of who in fact will be included in the ballot.
Okay, Kim?
Sir, sabi naman po ni Senator Escudero, yung ginawa daw po ng 2013, nilagyan daw po yung names ng PRO ng asterisk. Tingin niyo po ba, ngayong presidential po kasi ito magiging effective po ba yun kung ikupush po na po yung printing of ballots ngayong 2013?
Nalalagyan ng asterisk, pero ganun pa rin yun. Babalikan pa rin yung mga kasi halimbawa, kung hindi pa decided, hindi mo pa alam kung lalagyan mo ng asterisk o hindi. So, ganun na rin yun. Kung ganun lang ang gagawin na, kasi babalik ito. Halimbawa, na-disqualify. Paano natin gagawin? Babalik natin yung balota, lalagyan natin na asterisk. So, parang, antayin mo na lang yung pag-imprenta, yung pag-desisyon. So, that might be a reasonable compromise. I don't know how effective it will be to the voters to understand what the asterisk means.
Okay, sir, bago ko makalimutan. Ay, meron ka dyan?
Ako lang, sir, balik na ulit kay Senator Miriam. Sir, when was the last time you saw each other or talked?
I talked face to face before the New Year. Before the New Year. But almost every day, our staffs are in contact because na, mga practical na pinag-uusapan namin. What date, what place, what time. Ganun na ang aming pinag-uusapan.
Okay, sir, bago ko makalimutan ha. Ano daw yung significance para sa inyo ng centennial anniversary ng Senate? Parang message nyo for the centennial anniversary of Senate. Considering na your father ay naging Senate President.
Yeah, Senator and Senate President. Well, it is a grand old institution, 100-year-old now institution, and that is a very important landmark. Dahil ang kailangan para sa isang lipunan na maging magandang patakbo ay matibay ang ating mga institutions. And to be able to say that the Senate, a very important institution, a very important part of the legislative department of government, has been performing its function for 100 years is a good reminder that we must make our institutions stronger, and we can use the Senate as an example.
Okay na, ganda ha. Sir, just for fun, ito lang yung what comes into your mind kapag binanggit ko yung tao or pangyayari. Already na. Ay, pag may gusto kayo ha. Muna. Sir, one word. Leni Robredo.
Ano? Isa pwede na niya sagutin. Candidate. That's all. Ano mo, the problem is hindi ko talaga siya kilala. So I only know her as a candidate.
Adrian, may tanong muna before yung ating one word. Ha? Ikaw na yung magtanong.
Hindi ako na magtatanong.
Okay.
Sir, noong February 25, declared na national non-working holiday anniversary ng EDSA. Ano masasabi niyo daw?
Well, but hindi naman, bago ba yan? Hindi naman nagbago yan. It's been always there. At hindi katakataka na ginagawa yan. Lalo na nakaupo sa palasyo mo eh, isang akin. Hindi ko natutuloy.
Bakit, sir?
At ang naka-order Romualdez.
Pinoy.
Ito muna. Okay, sir. Leni Robredo. One word.
Candidate. Yun lang ang pagkaalam ko sa kanya eh. Hindi ko siya kilala.
Alan Cayetano.
Party man.
Chis Escudero.
Oh, son of my friend. Every
Sir,
time I talk about Chis Escudero, I remember Sammy Escudero kasi yun talaga, doon ako malapit. Kaibigan na kaibigan ko.
Honasan.
Ha? Hindi, alam mo yung ganung kagaling na tao, hindi mo ma-describe sa isang word.
Honasan.
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 Oh, talaga. Matapang. Yung mga naging rebelde. Hindi natin maiiwasan na sabihin na matatapang talaga yun dahil hindi gagawin, yung mga ginawa nila hindi gagawin ng duwag yan.
Sir, President Aquino.
President Aquino, he is retiring.
Mar Rojas.
Mar Rojas, my friend.
Duterte.
Also my friend.
Grace Po.
Sister. Wala na, pinanindigan ko na eh.
Miriam Santiago.
Oh, brilliant.
EDSA Revolution.
History.
May 2016 election now.
Critical.
BDL.
Dead.
Lisa Marcos.
Lang. Tama, palapit tayo sa
Valentine's Day. O ano pa gusto niyo nagdag?
Wala na kayo.
Celebreno.
Ay, huwag ako. Hindi ako sali.
Celebreno.
Oy, Miss Universe, Pia.
Miss Universe.
Hindi, sir. Si Miss Universe, Pia.
Successful.
Senate Press.
Ba't doon tayo sama? Sino pa ba?
Drilon.
Senate President Drilon daw, sir.
Effective.
Ito ba? Former First Lady Imelda Marcos.
Nanay.
Idol.
Idol. Former President Marcos.
Idol din.
Idol.
Sir, kay Amy,
Isa pang idol.
Lahat idol.
Eh, magagaling yung sinasabi niya. Yung aking ama, yung aking ina, si Gov. Ayoy. Ang gagaling mo mga yan.
Enrile, JTE.
Another, effective. Brilliant din yan, brilliant.
Oh, yung
Tapang.
Trillanes.
Matapang. Talaga naman, nakikita naman ninyo sa galaw niya, matapang na tao. Eh.
Uy, BP Binay.
Rising.
Rising.
Rising. Tumataas ang numero niya.
Maporo.
Senator Bongbong Marcos.
Ay, ito yung magsasabi nun. Hindi mo. Siyempre, kung tatanong mo sa akin.
Rising din.
Brilliant, mabait, mahusay, matalino. Perfect. Diba? Eh, sino pag magtataas ng bangko ko kung hindi ako?
Neck to neck.
Sino?
Sir, neck to neck kayo, Duterte.
Anong neck? Bakit neck to neck?
Neck to neck. Di ba, ang laki ng ano yung team?
Ni Mayor Digo? Eh, hindi naman
Ano
kami.
yung cheese? Yung cheese pala.
Cheese, oo.
Neck to neck.
Well, yeah, ganun ang nakalagay na sa survey. Pero with a grain of salt ko na binabasa yung mga survey. Dahil kung titignan mo, tatlo. Ay nakita mo tatlong survey o apat na survey sa the past few months. Iba-ibang resulta eh. Kaya it's very confusing.
Sir, Dimaporo daw. Dimaporo.
Leader.
Leader.
Who is you're talking about?
Sir, si Estong Wharton daw. Wharton.
Wharton Institution. Educational Institution.
Nag-itriga.
Nag-itriga ka.
Estong, sir. Estong.
As usual.
Okay, no more?
No more.
With that, thank you very much, Senator
Thank you again.
Bongbong.
Maraming salamat sa inyo lahat. Good morning.